Welcome to Talkin' with Dave. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're doing well. And if not, I'm here to help. I am top shelf myself, but I realize we are all dealing with something this time of year. And when I talk about it, you're going to say, Dave, where have you been? We could have used this 6 months ago. Well, Dave is here with your election survival kit. When this comes out, my goodness, we're going to be less than a month away from the blessed event. And don't worry, I'm not going to talk politics. I am not here to talk politics. Not going to do it. That's one of the things. If I ever slip up and start, somebody slap me. We got to get through this crazy time of bickering and lying and cheating and stealing by both sides. And it's not just the national stuff. It's not just president. In Vegas, I know it's happening everywhere, but in Vegas, man, it's getting so bad. It's down to, forget the issues. You're a pedophile. Well, you're a slut. You know, it's getting that bad here. And so there's things we need to do to keep our sanity and survive this. So we're going to talk about, okay, what are some ways we can get through it up to the election and then afterwards. What if we win? What if we lose? What if we've got people hanging around afterwards that are driving you crazy? Well, all right. A lot of these suggestions will work with any traumatizing situation or rough spot you go through. It's especially necessary this time of year. Every election, they say it's the most important election of our lifetime. Well, that may be true. I don't know. I'm not getting into politics. I am getting into remaining productive during these difficult times. I look at several of the I love quotes, man. I love them. I know I've heard people who depend on quotes to motivate you are a little lacking in intelligence. Alrighty, that's me then, because I like them. And occasionally you run across some gems. So when you talk about voting or politics, I ran across this one. I think maybe a little bit ironic, don't you think? The ballot is stronger than the bullet. You know who said that? Abraham Lincoln. Come on, Abe. I think you may want to recant that one a little bit. Other than that, Miss Lincoln, how was the play? Ironic. The price of apathy toward public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Some people could say evil men, evil women exist on both sides. In politics, it's a nasty game. It's like wrestling with the pig. Some people think it's fun, but you're going to get dirty. You're going to get dirty. A nation of sheep will beget a government of wolves. Anything with beget is probably old. Edward R. Murrow said that. Bad officials are elected by good citizens who do not vote. So the only political statement I'm going to make is pick a side, vote your conscience, and we'll deal with the aftermath. I doubt if very many people are still not sure over who they're going to vote for. Those truly independents are undecided. Well, you're probably undecided on a lot of things. But it's, get involved. We've got to get through this onslaught of ads. Who's going to clean up all these posters everywhere is what I want to know. And it takes a while. It just drives you crazy. But there's ways to cope, and I'm going to share some with you. How about that? We can all benefit from these, not just in this difficult time, but in times when things are causing additional stress, worry, and distraction. SWDs. Yep, that's what I do. Let's be productive during this time. But one way to cope is you've got to set boundaries. And I'm talking about with yourself. These are things you can do. Set boundaries as far as how much media are you going to take in. Some would even call it'd be good to do a media fast. Because it's nonstop. They say it's a 24-hour news cycle. I think it's about an hour news cycle repeated 24 times just beat you over the head. I think we could all do with a little media fast. And I like that word. Yeah, because if you've decided, why do you got to keep looking? I get it though. I get the temptation. Also, if you are going to delve into some of this, the second thing would be watch your feed. What are you getting? Don't just go from one side. Take a look at all sides, because you can get totally brainwashed by one side no matter what that side is. So take your time. If you want to fact check, if you're really into this stuff, if this is your thing, that's great. But again, make sure you look at it from all different sides. Yeah, that way you can balance how positive or negative, and you can control your emotions around that. And if you can find a neutral feed, I don't know if they exist anymore, dig into that rather than going to one that's, on one side or the other. Also, don't get into political debates on social media. It's going to spin you in a downward spiral. You can't win them. A lot of times you're arguing with a bot anyway. It's not even a person. But then what you're also doing is you're opening your thoughts up to all of your friends on social media, all of their friends that could see it, and then all the outside forces that can gang up on you, bully you, do whatever. And at that point, you can't win. And even if you do, you're all stirred up. So I really believe in a social media fast. I'll tell you right now, I guess I would be on death row when it comes to Facebook. I've been in jail so many times. I'm off. I haven't been on it in a couple of weeks. And I'm not going to go on a rant against the Facebook and Mr. Gutenberg or whatever his name is. Yeah, you see what I post. It's very tame. But when I say something they don't like, they put me in jail. So I am off Facebook. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all the others. And I have found it, honestly, to be, it's nice. It's just another platform I don't have to deal with. And who knows, maybe sometime I maybe get off completely. Kira's trying to help me with my social media presence so I don't have to delve in as much. But please avoid political debates on social media. And when you do these media fasts, or you clear a bucket of time by getting off of some of the social media during your media fast, what are you going to do with that time? All right, well, fill it with some good stuff. Just time to relax, time to do other things. I love to get a cup of coffee in the morning and go out back. And a lot of times I would do the scrolling. It's nice to sit there and not do that. And you can do anything for a month. But I seem to start my day a little more upbeat. People are nice to me for the most part, but I have a sarcastic nature. And I'm thinking, it'd be great to say this. Or, I wish somebody would say that. Come on, Dave, grow up. That's not the way to do it. So focus on what calms you down. Pilates, a walk in nature, something like that. Fill that time, that pocket of time with something useful. And another thing to get through this desperate time that we're in, have constructive conversations. Watch out for it. Guard your conversations and make them constructive. If you must discuss politics, all right, just make sure it's constructive, respectful. I don't know that you're going to be able to avoid it because people are going to bring it up. But as long as it's constructive, that's great. And there's a lot of ways. We're going to talk about some ways when it, to keep it constructive, and when it gets destructive, what do you do? But hey, I get it. I understand your point of view. But rather than, arguing or debating, let's leave that to the pros. Just something casual like that. You can do that. Surely they'd get that shot across the bow. More of those coming up, though. The next thing is have a no politics zone. I have done this many times in the past. The garage was a no politics zone. I mean, the only time politics was ever discussed, if it was me and maybe one other like-minded person, and we kept it light. We didn't get into anything, but having that no politics zone. If you're around families, thank goodness the election is before Thanksgiving. Woo! But it's still gonna come up in those Thanksgiving meals. You know it is. But have some, during meals, before bed. There's a lot. I know a lot of people who spouses are on different sides of the aisle, and they go to bed mad at each other. They start it up because a lot of times they'll watch news before they go to bed, or they're scrolling. I had one good friend that she would scroll in bed and on Yahoo News before she went to sleep. Well, that just got her stirred up. And then the next day she came to me complaining because she wasn't sleeping well. Duh. No wonder you're getting yourself all jacked up. But I like it. I like having a no politics zone. It's easier to do than you think. But you have to set that rule and set that boundary. Also, I talked about filling the pocket of time you're creating with something. Hobbies. It's a great time to get back into a hobby or expand on a hobby. I've got some keyboards here behind me. I'm gonna start creating again. I haven't been very creative musically in a long time. Some would say never, but remember the but, what came before it? All of that was a lie. I'm really going to get into this because I have pockets of time. Yeah. Or just rekindling a sport that you used to play, or just stay active. Go for walks and talks. That's one thing. I try to do that with my wife, but she walks so slow. I think she's so used to walking the dogs, and they have to sniff and piddle so much. That's what she does. She says, I walk too fast. We go through an airport, and she says, I'm walking too fast. I'm getting passed by everybody, so it's hard to walk and talk with my wife. Well, I'll check into it, but stay active. Keep it going. It is going to be necessary, or you're going to explode, to talk a little bit about politics. But find some like-minded people, and talk to them. Give yourself a curfew on it, a time limit, if you will. All right, let's talk about it. Did you hear this? Oh, what about that? Oh, can you believe this? Oh, All right, I feel better. Kind of like the pop-off valve on a water heater, or the old pressure cooker. I just got to let off some steam, man. So, talk to like-minded people. The whole thing through this, with the stress, worry, and distraction, if you don't do some of these things to control the absolute tsunami of information and emotion and posturing, it's going to get to you. So you got to take care of your mental health. I hate to use such a broad term, but you got to take care of that. If you don't, you're not going to do well at work. If you don't, you're not going to do well at home. If you don't, you're going to bogey number 3, and it's a par 5. That kind of thing. So I think these 10 things, let me hit them again before I go on. Set boundaries on your consumption of the media and all this stuff. Balance your feed. Make sure you're hearing all sides, not just one. It's going to get you all revved up. Avoid political debates on social media. Please. Have time to focus on relaxing. Take care of yourself. Take deep breaths. Have that cup of coffee out on the picnic table. When you have conversations, just make sure they're constructive, because they're going to come up. People are going to say, hey, what'd you think about this? Baiting you. All right, let's keep it constructive. Have your no politics zones. Refocus on your hobbies and interests. Stay active. Talk to like-minded people. And just take care of your mental health and your mood and your attitude, because it can go sideways quick. It can go. It can go. That's a good Southern word. Now, the election's over. Oh, isn't that great? Whew. It's been battling, man. It's been going on for 4 years. It's finally over. Now, how do you cope with this? Win or lose. Win or lose. I can't even believe I'm talking about this, but I've had a lot of people saying, just, I don't know what to do. This person's driving me crazy. Win or lose. Just take a minute and acknowledge. Here are the results. No matter the outcome. All right? But let me take a minute and feel upset or feel happy or feel frustrated or disappointed, whatever those are. Just allow yourself a minute to take it in. This can be a private moment to just analyze the fact of what happened and acknowledge how you feel about it. This is beating back the whole phase of denial. Accept it. Take some time. Then, no matter what it is, you got to focus on the long term, especially with political stuff. It's all cyclical. If you won, all right, let's not get too cocky, because it always goes back the other way. It doesn't last that long. If you lost, don't get too down and thinking, oh, we're all screwed. It always comes around. It's cyclical. You can look back as far as we've been around. When has one party been in power for 20 years? Hasn't happened. When has one party had the House and the Senate for 20 years? It hasn't happened. And so there's that system of checks and balances. And I know people don't want to trust the system, but to some degree, it's made for this kind of stuff. So focus on the long term. Engage in positive action. There's a lot of times it's the local stuff that really impacts you. I mean, yeah, the national stuff does too. But if you're excited about your side winning and you want to get involved, that's great. The opposite is also true. All right, I didn't come out on top this time, but what can I do? What can I do locally? The things that affect us around here. And I'm not saying get into politics. If you want to get into politics, I think you need to talk to somebody first. I don't know that we can be friends, but engage in positive activities. I think one thing that I'm going to do is, the next one would be, take a social media break. Can you imagine what it's going to be like? Can you imagine what it's going to be like? As crazy as it is now, everything is going to blow up, starting on election day and then keep going. I think we should all take a social media break for a while. And I don't know to what degree that is. Take completely off of it, or watch but don't post. It's going to be rough. I'll tell you that. That's a social media detox to get through this. I like it. Also, no matter if you lose, just think about it. Okay, all right, yeah, my side lost. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, the flowers are blooming. I still have everything I had yesterday. I have a lot to be grateful for. Now, that's easy for me to say, but we need to do that. Okay? My side wins. Okay. Still got the same house, same car. Love my birds, love my son, love my flowers. It hasn't changed that much. So be grateful for what you have. I love writing this stuff down. My daughter and I still, it's years now, on Fridays, she starts it out. She'll send me an email saying three good things that happened this week, or 3 things to be happy about. And I'll respond with the same. It's great. And so I'm grateful for that. So what do you have? I know my buddy Mac McAnally wrote a song called Meanwhile, and when he turned, in his 40s, he realized, all of the time he spent dwelling on negative things or things that he couldn't do anything about took directly away from all the things he could do something about, or time spent on positive things. Practicing gratitude is a great thing to do. After the election, I think it's going to be vital for some of us to get through it, because everybody can't win. And then now, afterwards, I don't care if you win or lose. You're going to have those people. You are going to have those people that are just like that little animal on Jabba's shoulder. That they can't get enough of how glad they are they won, or they can't get enough of how screwed over they were, and they've got to get in your ear. Oh, don't you love? Now these are friends. These are friends, so it's not like you can just, end a friendship over this. But how do you deal with it? What are some good ways to deal with those people? And this is good anytime, in my opinion. I think it's especially good after big world events, though. First thing, when they're in your ear, just politely change the subject. Just politely change the subject. Yeah. I was thinking about, and just change the subject. That's interesting. I was thinking about this, or ask them what they think about something else. You seem passionate about that. What do you think about something totally different? And a lot of people, they can't get the hint, so you have to go further. But just try to change the subject. It's easier, honestly, it's easier in a group than it is with one-on-one. You can bring up somebody else in the group, bring up a new topic, and let them start talking, and hopefully it will dilute any political conversations. One thing I try to do, I think I'm successful. Some people don't, and that's using humor. I think a lot of times, I think what I say is really funny. My wife, bless her heart, I guess she's just been around my charming, charismatic humor so long, she's immune to it. She doesn't think I'm as funny as she used to. I wonder what that's about. But just a light-hearted comment. Maybe even acknowledge it, and then add something to it. Maybe something like, "Whoa, okay, I think I've reached my political quota for the day. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something a little lighter, or just launch into a joke. Yeah, whatever. But use humor. That usually can diffuse or dilute a toxic conversation. And then the boundaries. We all struggle at times setting boundaries, and sometimes more than others. But it's just, you have to set those boundaries. I try to keep politics out of my conversations. Let's talk about something else. If it's okay with you. There's good ways to do it. Look, it's almost like the politics quota, but I could talk about just about anything y'all want. I'm glad, other than politics. Is that okay? And that way they know. And if they continue, well, maybe this group is not for you right now. And again, these are friends or acquaintances to where this time or this subject may be the only thing that you really conflict with them about. So you don't want to burn a bridge. Yeah, you don't want to burn a bridge. Another way is to just be neutral. Just be neutral. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective you have there. I can see where you're coming from. Wow, you seem to be, have really strong feelings about this. But you're not commenting either way. A lot of times it's just to keep things going, so you can push it a different direction or lead them to a more palatable conversation. And then sometimes it's, you guys are great. I love hanging out with you, but I gotta go. Ooh, look at the time. Just get out. Sometimes it's like in war games. Sometimes the only way to win is not to play. All right, this conversation will go away. It will run its course, hopefully. Some people, not so much, but you know those people. They're good people. I love it when people are passionate about what they believe in. I think it's fantastic. It's a lot better than that old, just somebody sits back and complains all the time about everything. That's too easy. That's lazy. That is absolutely lazy. So let's talk about it. You win. Your side wins. How do you handle it? How do you manage that situation? I find that positive people handle a loss much better than negative people, which just makes sense. However, it's a little bit harder to win and maintain a mature level of enthusiasm, especially when you're around people who didn't, who are reeling from a perceived loss or a stated loss. So 5 things. When you win, remember this. I guess when you win anything, be humble. Be humble and acknowledge the other side. I know you felt strongly about this and you put a ton of work into it. You put a lot of thought. I respect your passion. And I know it's tough on you. There you go. You won. You can hold in your heart that victory, but have some empathy and be humble, because there will come a time when you're going to be on the other side. I promise you. And then also give the people around you who didn't win, give them some space. They got to process it too, especially with the crazy energized environment that we're in, and there's so much contradiction afterwards and disputes and all of these things. Give them some space. Allow them to process their emotions. Maybe even help them with some of the things we said earlier. It's cyclical. It's all going to work out. Whatever. I mean, it's not your job to make them feel better, but give them some space. Give them some space. And stay supportive. I mean, you don't have to support contrary views. You can support their enthusiasm, their energy. I know it didn't go your way this time, but I know that your hard work will not go without bearing fruit. Hard work always pays off. And there's always a next time. When you lose and you tell me there's always a next time, I'm not going to take it well. I'm not. Stay supportive. Don't rub it in. Now, you have some friends where you're probably going to rub it in. Don't rub it in. Stay supportive. Be a good winner. Then redirect the focus. You don't have to talk about this all the time. Let's go. We've been talking. When's the last time we played golf? Let's pick. What about next weekend? Yeah. Have you tried that new restaurant? Oh, it's fantastic. The view, the food is great. Got TVs everywhere. Let's go watch a game. How about that? You're redirecting it. This is your friend, acquaintance, something. Redirect it to something else, please. And then you can acknowledge feelings without negativity. You don't even have to bring up the loss. You can just see, somebody's hurting. All right, I get it. I know you're upset. Completely understandable. All right. We got to deal with it, and then let's move on to something else without being negative. That's almost like the first one. Give them space. Some people, it takes more space. It takes more time. You don't want to put your friendship or your relationship on hold. You don't want to do that. So support the person without being negative. I think that those are good. Let me hit them again. Be humble. Give them space. Stay supportive and positive. Redirect the focus. Talk about doing something else. That's great. And then acknowledge their feelings without engaging in negativity. Need some cheering up. You may be able to do it. You may not. All of that is important. And I think, the humble support of this, they know you. So the challenge in some of this is going to be the sincerity. And so looking deep within yourself, truly putting yourself in their shoes, which is tough. It goes back to the golden rule. I've got a podcast coming up that says the golden rule is crap. Oh yeah, that's gonna. Some of these podcasts I couldn't do while my mom was alive. So anyway, the golden rule is treat somebody like you want to be treated. In this case, I believe it's true. All right, what if the other side, won? Some people you expect to pile on, and you're ready for it. And that's the jousting. And I love those relationships where if you're not giving me the business, I'm thinking, what's wrong here? If we're not hacking on each other. There are times for that, and there are times that are not. And I think the politics of our day is so revved up and gets lost in morality and right and wrong. We just want to win. We want our side to win. We want your side to lose. I'm not voting because I like this guy. I'm voting because I hate your guy. That's toxic. And I believe it's by design. So some of you have this trait of being able to lift yourself above it, to not be petty, to be a voice of reason. And it goes back, and one of the reasons I was talking into doing this particular podcast is it is a good practice time for leadership. The voice of reason, being the calm guy in the room or gal, it's very important. How they say sports builds character. I don't believe it. I think sports reveals character or a lack of it. And then over time, you can build some resilience and strength under pressure and all of that. This crazy time we're going through now, and especially the last probably 6 months and the next month or two, it's going to test it. And I would never want to be judged by when I'm not at my best or when I'm at my weakest point. So this is great practice to still be productive with all the stress, worry, and distraction of a politically charged environment. Don't lose friends. Don't lose acquaintances that you need in your life. Don't let it harm anything at work. If you've married someone who's on the other side, bless your heart. It's gonna be tough. This is why we buy comfortable couches. So, remain humble, remain supportive, focused on the positive aspects of your relationships with these people, and you can navigate these tricky dynamics. You'll get there. Everything is cyclical. No one ever wants to be known, hey, he's a really good loser. That guy can lose, man. He'll get over it. He loses all the time. Nobody wants that. Be a good winner. Sometimes that's a lot tougher. All right, we'll get through this. Your election survival kit is intact. Thanks for joining. Please reach out to me at david@otalks.com or dave@otalks.com. Otalks.com is where that's my website. It's where everything is. All this stuff back here that I don't sell, but you can buy. That's where it is. Kira is killing it for me on TikTok and Instagram. I am on YouTube, building a lot of stuff up and a lot more to come. And off Facebook. No, I'm tired of being in jail. Therefore, that's it for me right now. I will sign off saying thanks for your support, but thanks most of all for Talking with Dave. Giddy up.